From the OUTV Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, California, this is Brief News Brief, a brief look at today's trending news topics, proudly combating the thought police since 2016. Here's your host, James Heaney.
I'm James Heaney, and this is your Brief News Briefing. Yesterday, researchers revealed that in 2018 there was a sudden shift in greenhouse gas emissions worldwide, and that they're now growing at an accelerating pace. Yes, I said accelerating because it's not at an accelerated pace. Accelerated would mean past tense. It's still speeding up, guys. This puts the world on track to face some of the most severe consequences of global warming sooner than expected. Now, scientists are describing the quickening rate of the carbon dioxide emissions as a speeding freight train. They are laying part of the blame on an unexpected surge in the appetite for oil as people from around the world not only buy more cars, but buy more cars and then drive those more cars more farther. Now, this offsets any of the gains that we've gotten by the incredible technology of electric cars. Worldwide, carbon emissions are expected to increase by 2.7% in 2018. Now that's the wrong way. That's the wrong way. We want to decrease these. I mean, this isn't breaking news. You know this, people. We know that we want less carbon dioxide in the air in order to survive as a human race. Reducing carbon emissions is central to stopping global warming. Now, this new report comes as delegates from nearly 200 countries are meeting in Poland to debate their next steps under the Paris Climate Agreement. Do you remember the Paris Climate Agreement? Well, it's that thing that we stepped out of not so long ago. We were like, nah, too hard to work on that stuff together. Many nations haven't been meeting their self-imposed targets. The new assessment is that the third major scientific report in recent months is sending a message to the world that is failing, that they are making a failing effort to make sufficient progress to avoid the worst effects of climate change. The analysis found that the world is on pace to release a record 37.1 gigatons. What is a gigaton? I mean, I guess it would probably mean 1,000 tons. It's 37, it's a lot of gigatons of planet warming emissions in 2018, led in large part by China, the United States, and India. Now, we can debate all day what a gigaton is, but roughly it's 100,000 times the weight of the Empire State Building. So you can take that to the bank. I feel like it's Groundhog's Day. The midterm elections are still going on, and the much-fraught boogeyman of voter fraud that helps propel legislation to suppress voters, well, it's real, and it's happening. And it's happening in North Carolina. But it's not the Trump-described voters that are going to their car, putting on a disguise, hiding their mustache, getting back in line and voting a second time for voter fraud. No, this is a closely watched probe into the irregularities involving absentee ballots in the state's 9th congressional district. It's being alleged that the Republican Party candidate, Mark Harris, hired people to go around the counties collecting unsealed but filled out absentee ballots, which, surprise, surprise, is illegal in North Carolina, and then returning to that same place with the ballots sealed with stamps on them saying, okay, now it's okay to turn these in. Now, investigators are trying to figure out how many people were illegally asked to turn over their absentee ballots. If they find enough irregularities, they could choose to order a new election. Now, investigators are also trying to figure out if there was, perhaps a nefarious reason for so many unreturned absentee ballots in Bladen County, which has a large black population, and in nearby Robeson County, which has a majority Native American population. In Bladen County, 40% of absentee ballots were never mailed in. In Robeson, 62% of ballots were not returned. In recent days, 3 people have come forward to say that they were hired to collect absentee ballots. They were offered wads of cash. Now, I don't know how much is in a wad, but all of these people have said that they worked for McCrae Dowless, a campaign operative with a criminal history who was working for a contractor on behalf of Harris. Now, Dowless or Harris, neither of them have yet commented on this scandal, but I am interested. Is it possible that there was a nefarious reason? The chief financial officer of the Chinese telecom giant Huawei, Meng Wanzhou, was arrested on Saturday. And this arrest took place while President Trump and President Xi Jinping of China agreed to a trade truce. The trade truce was occurring during talks. Obviously that's how all this stuff happens. They were hoping to mellow out the trade war that's been going on strong between America and China. And it's been affecting Americans. I'm sure it's affecting Chinese people as well. But this trade deal between the United States and China looks even more complicated than it had before when these talks were starting up in the wake of this arrest. The Canadian government said on Wednesday that it had detained Huawei's chief financial officer, now this is Meng Wanzhou, on Saturday in Vancouver, British Columbia, while she was transferring flights. The U.S. is seeking Meng's extradition, but has not said what prompted the arrest. The news has ignited anger and astonishment in China. The stock market is taking a hit. Large American tech companies like, Facebook, Apple, and Amazon, they're all down, but it's not just tech companies. Oil prices are also down more than 4%. Cracks are starting to appear, people. Is this another recession on the horizon?